Are you familiar with the torpedo? Have you caught torpedo bat fever?
Yeah, I don't think we're using the torpedo bats. Still hitting a lot of home runs though.
Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yes.
This is incredible.
I didn't even know this was a thing this season.
It wasn't a thing until this weekend.
Yeah, where did this come from?
The Yankees.
So, how do they get permission?
They don't need permission. It's within the rule book.
That you can use one of these torpedo bats.
Okay, let me talk you through it.
Okay.
So the big story out of this past weekend, the opening weekend of the Major League Baseball season, is that the Yankees hit 15 home runs in 3 games. They hit 9 in 1. Aaron Judge hit 3 in 1. They're just bombing.
Yep.
Tied the record for most home runs in the first 3 games of history of Major League Baseball, right? Well, then people start going, hey, what's going on with their bats? Michael Kay, who calls Yankees games, is the first one to note about it on TV. This is all, I can't overstate this. I know this might sound whatever for non-baseball fans, but like, imagine something came to the NBA that just changed the sport overnight.
Yep.
That's what's happening right now in baseball. This was not even a thing that anybody talked about. And then Michael Kay talks about it this weekend with the Yankees. Like, hey, you need to look at these bats. Look at Jazz Chisholm's bat. And it's called a bowling pin bat or a torpedo bat. It's sort of been nicknamed a torpedo bat. And the idea behind it is this. There was a hitting instructor working in the Yankees organization. Minor league guy. But a physicist. MIT. Mm-hmm. So brilliant guy, physicist working in baseball. And he had sort of noticed that hitting had become more difficult than it ever had been. Like in the numbers, that's true. The velocity of pitches is up. Pitchers are throwing more pitches than ever. Velocities, like, I want to say velocities up, average fastball, like 8, 9 miles per hour over the past 20 years. Everybody's bigger, stronger, throwing harder. Hitting is more difficult than it used to be. So he just started talking to hitters like, how can I help make your job? How can we shorten this gap? Because the pitchers are getting better and the hitters are starting to struggle more. And so he had this idea. Baseball, every baseball bat you've ever looked at your entire life more or less looks exactly the same. It's a skinny little handle, and then it gets slightly bigger, and then it balloons into a barrel, and then you have a barrel. That's the baseball bat. Mm-hmm. There are very little rules in Major League Baseball on what you can't do with a baseball bat. I mean, there's pine tar stuff and whatever, but basically can't be more than a certain number of inches long and can't be more than 2.61 inches in diameter. So the biggest part of the barrel, 2.61 inches in diameter.
Okay.
That's it. As long as it meets those numbers and, is made of the right wood and all that stuff, you got yourself a bat that's legal.
Okay.
So here's the idea. And it's one of those things that it's the most obvious idea in the world, but nobody thought of it until this guy did. He said, think of a piece of a baseball bat, a wooden baseball bat. Don't think of it as in any sort of traditional way. Think of it as a piece of wood that's going to weigh 32 ounces. You have 32 ounces of wood. You can distribute this wood anywhere you want it, as long as it doesn't exceed 2.61 inches in diameter. It doesn't exceed however many inches long. I think it's 42 inches. It can't be more than 42, something like that. And it doesn't weigh more than 32 ounces because that's what a normal MLB bat's going to weigh. What if you never hit the ball off the end of the bat? Or at least you don't effectively. So why do we use some of our good wood down there? The barrel at the end of the traditional baseball bat is just as wide in circumference as the actual part of the bat you're trying to hit the ball with.
Right.
So his idea was, instead of making the end of the bat the same diameter, using that good wood down here at the end of the bat where you're never hitting the ball anyway, why don't we move that good wood closer to the handle, 6 or 7 inches from the top? In other words, if your barrel used to be at the end of the bat down here, he moved it down closer to the middle of the bat. And so it now resembles something that looks more like a bowling pin. It almost goes like skinny, then out, but then gets skinny again back up at the top at the barrel. You've got 32 ounces of wood to work with. Why not put the bulk of that good wood in the place where you're actually going to be hitting the baseball? And you've got a bigger place to hit the baseball with more effectively. And guess what?
That's physics, brother.
Look at the bat. You can see it. It's not dramatic, but it's noticeable.
No, you can tell the difference for sure.
It gets skinnier toward the end of the bat. The barrel, the simplest way to say it is the barrel has moved down from the top of that bat down closer to the middle. They've taken the good wood away from the top of the bat and put it closer to the middle. And now
it's a little thicker.
That's right. It's just the thick part of the bat is closer to the middle of the bat that you are trying to barrel up as opposed to into the bat. The Yankees did this. Not every Yankee is using them, but the Yankees did this and immediately set home run records. All right? Now, other teams are literally calling bat manufacturers and saying,
send me these. Yeah.
Like by today, guess who decided to use a torpedo bat last night for the first time ever? Ellie De La Cruz in Cincinnati.
I bet I know what happened.
Watch what he did with this torpedo bat.
A hard parked triple in. Destroyed. Deep right center. Off the base of the batter's eye. He is
14-0 is insane, by the way.
He hit 2 homers last night.
His first
all
two
over. You're going to look up in a week, and half the league is going to be using these bats. Think about how crazy this is. We've been playing baseball forever. Nobody's thought of this. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it is. Especially considering like what you mentioned, like the pine tar and like little things that we've seen pitchers and hitters for that matter do to try to manipulate the game. It is kind of surprising that this hasn't been thought of before.
Now think about the business aspect of this. Ooh, buddy. I'm at baseball fields every weekend when I'm in town. Every kid in every dugout's got a $300 baseball bat.
Yeah.
Make these things legal for 8-year-olds.
Right.
Sell them for $500.
Oh, man.
You've just rendered traditional baseball bats useless. You are going to be able to tell an entire world of youth baseball players, the bat you've been using, that's not a bat anymore. You got to have one of these. And oh, buddy, baseball parents can't wait to buy them. Torpedo bats are going to – somebody about to make $1 bazillion off of these things.
Man. Yeah, they are.
Like suddenly, hey, every little baseball player in America, you have to have a new bat because the one you're using is now outdated. It'd be like if you just went to the golf course one day and suddenly there were these new clubs that looked different and everybody was hitting the ball 50 yards further and sticking approach shots closer, and suddenly everybody had them by next week. That's what happened to baseball. Like just guy brainstorming. Well, why don't we do this? Can we do that? Yeah, it's allowed. Why hasn't anybody thought of this? Then he does it, and the other thing the players say is like it looks different in your hands and just gives you a sense of you have a better instrument to work with because it visually looks like the barrel's bigger.
Oh, and so your confidence goes up.
It's just the illusion. It's really a confidence thing. This is what Jazz Chisholm said.
That's what they say. Yep.
There's an illusion of because the barrel goes skinny, big, skinny again, that part that you're trying to barrel up looks bigger than it otherwise would look because it stands out from the rest of the bat. And it creates like the idea that you're using a better instrument, a better weapon in this moment. It's just fascinating to me. And so keep an eye on this. Like, this wasn't a thing last week. The Yankees turned it into a thing this weekend. Ellie De La Cruz just decided to start using it on Monday. You'll see 15 more players using them tonight.
Yeah.
This is going to be the new thing. Baseball bats have been changed just randomly in April 2025.
It's kind of wild.
It's just a wild thing.
Yeah.
Just 2025. Let's just come up with a new idea for baseball bats and change Major League Baseball. That's where we're at.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.